Great one, Faya. We had very interesting sessions this morning. I can see so many people from all over the world, basically. Oh, some of the names I can recognize. Hi, everyone. Hello, hello. Still more people joining. Let's give it one more minute, maybe.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah, let's give it one more.
The more we are, the better.
Exactly. Okay, guys, I think if you're ready, we can start. We okay?
With pleasure.
Okay, perfect. Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you are all keeping well and safe. Just I hope you've been enjoying the conference so far. It's been great sessions, and I'm sure we're going to have another perfect one. My name is Fadi. I'm the regional manager for Onshore and EU at Kaplan International Pathways. As I said, our session today is about university pathway in Germany, which is, by the way, first is #1 to study destination in EU for international students. So to present the session, I'm joined today with my colleagues from Albania Language Schools. So I would like to welcome Sebastian Martins, the Global Sales Director, and Iko Tusai, the General Manager at Albania Language Schools. For the next 45 minutes, you will learn many interesting information about Albania Language Schools, which become part of Kaplan family in 2019. You will know more, learn more as well about the higher education in Germany and the university pathway programs. Of course, if you have any question, you can drop them in the Q&A box, and of course, we will be more than happy to answer them at the end. Without any further delay, I will leave the stage to you guys, and yeah, all yours. Good luck.
Thank you,
Fadi. Thank you, Fadi.
My name is Hugo Toseri. I'm the General Manager of Albania Language Schools. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to our session for this University Pathway in Germany program we launched in 2019. With Sebastian, will be presenting you and trying to guide you in this universe, which must be new for most of you. And you will see that it's not that complicated, but in some occasion you will have to forget a little bit about what you have been used to in the English-speaking countries. It's clear that you guys know what I'm talking about, and you will understand what are the differences and how at Albania we managed to create that program. So Albania is celebrating its 25th birthday this year. Since 1996, we have been in a way inspired by our multilingual country, which is Switzerland, to become one of the specialists of schools in teaching French and German as a foreign language. We have and we operate 5 all year-round schools in Germany, in Switzerland, and in France. And we also run young learners program for students aged 8 to 17 years old. But what is interesting today for our meeting is the pathway program to German university, which we launched in 2019 with, I have to say, an incredible success. Seb will enter into the detail, but you will see that it's not that complicated to start learning in Germany. We have the 2 big schools, all year-round schools in Berlin and Freiburg, Berlin north of Germany and Freiburg south of Germany. You will see it's in blue on that peak. We also, just for the sake of your general knowledge, we also operate this camp in this camp for young learners in Berlin, 2 camps in Berlin and 1 in Frankfurt and another one in Freiburg. You are going a little bit too quickly, Sebastian, here, but just going back to the previous one, just a quick word saying that we have another one, a previous one again. Thank you. In 2019, we also had the chance to become the latest addition to the Kaplan family. We have joined Kaplan International Languages in bringing these languages on board, German and French. As you must know, of course, Kaplan International Languages with schools in the US, in the UK, in Canada, in Australia, and in Ireland. You definitely know that it's a key player when it comes to the ESL industry, welcoming more than 40,000 students a year. Alpadia is a tiny part of that. We do welcome about 8,000 students a year. And the latest addition with the Pathway program is helping us to boom and to develop this uni pathway and career pathway as well for the students who want to continue their life in Germany and engage with German businesses. Thank you, Seb. We can continue. Why studying in Germany? Well, studying in Germany is something, of course, you want to do if you have planned to work in German-speaking countries, but not only. It is by far the leading economy of Europe, especially now with the Brexit. It's clear that Germany is the country number one when it comes to operation and production, whether it is from an engineering, from technical, from computer science, from science and art science. This language has become more and more important in the past. And as a matter of fact, with 320,000 international students in the latest winter semester of 2019-2020, Germany has become the fourth country in international education, being the first European one, but the fourth one behind USA, United Kingdom, and Australia. So it's definitely a destination for international students. The higher education in Germany will be presented now by Sebastian. Seb, the stage is yours. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Hugo. Hello, everyone. I'm Sebastian at Alpadia. So a quick brief about the route to German public universities via Alpadia. Collaborating with us, you can get placements to over 250 public universities, some private as well. That's not the main core of our activity, but sometimes some students request a private university, so that's an option. To give you a sense, there are about 400 public universities, and UniAssist, which is the system that we use to place students, regroup 80% of those universities. Now, your students could have access to what you're familiar with, a foundation year, which is called Studentkolleg in Germany, or direct access to a bachelor, master, or even PhD. At Alpadia, we provide the assistance through the application process, the visa process, as well as the actual university placement. Of course, German language knowledge is a must, depending the level of the students. You can study as short as 12 weeks and up to 44 weeks if you're a total beginner. To point out that at the end of any program with us, all students get an exam preparation, which is called Telk Deutsch Hochschule, to ensure students reach the C1 level, which is mandatory for all students to study into higher education into Germany. The Telk Deutsch is your equivalent of IELTS or TOEFL for USA and UK, etc. Germany is slightly different, as Hugo mentioned, in a sense that here the pathway is not happening on a university campus. Here the pathway is really a language course of German language, ensuring students reach the C1 level. The program can take place therefore at Alpadia, Berlin city center, or Freiburg. The applicants here must select their field of studies and not the actual university or the city that they want to study at. Yes, for the language course, they can choose Berlin or Freiburg, but not for the university at the stage of application. I will explain further later on why that's the case. But don't be disappointed. Once they are in Germany, yes, they will be able to choose afterwards their city and university of choice. To keep in mind here that it's basically public funding from the German governments. And Germany assists a lot students to come, study, immigrate, work, etc. But they request students to be pretty good students, and all in all your GPA of 80%, and in the fields of medicine 90%. For bachelors, we can go slightly lower, but not less than a 75% or so. In terms of time frame, let's say you have a student interested today, you would send us a simple PDF document that is a pre-evaluation along with the documents needed, such as transcripts, or if they have graduated already from high school or from undergraduate in their home country. It takes us maximum a week to make this evaluation. From that, then you will receive a student eligibility form, which is basically a roadmap indicating when your student should start on the German course in order to pass the C1 TELC exam and move on to university. As well, it will indicate whether or not your student needs to do the student colleague, meaning the foundation, or not, or straight access, direct entry to a bachelor, master, or PhD. Just to point out, the foundation or student colleague is only for students who will progress on to a bachelor. For masters and PhD, they don't need that part, obviously. Then our team provides a checklist. You give us back all the documents needed. We log the information in the system, and it will take about 12 to 16 weeks for your student to get at least one conditional letter of acceptance. So one is pretty much guaranteed as long as we said, yes, your student qualifies. Later on, then with this CLA, along with the blocked bank account, etc., which I'll explain in a sec, they'll apply for their visa. Now, the timing here of 8 to 12 weeks, it really depends per countries. Some much faster, some much later. That up to the consulates of Germany in the country. Then they come to Alpadia, study the language course for 12 to 44 weeks, depending on their entry level. At the end, they pass the C1 exam. And for those that need to move on to foundation, we have 2 preparatory modules for this foundation course of 4 weeks each with 3 starting dates per year. Then they must reapply to the university to actually start their higher education studies. Remember when I said, no, they shouldn't start by choosing their city or university? Well, that's on the left of that screen. However, when you reach the right-hand side where it says university placement 6 to 8 weeks, that's when your students will be able to apply for the actual university. Unlike the UK, let's say when they do a foundation at University X, then they progress onto that university. In Germany, no. Even though the student got the CLA, they are not guaranteed the space at that same university. It could be, but maybe not. So yes, they can reapply for that university they got the CLA from, and as many others as they want. So on the process with us to start with, it's the pre-evaluation process, which is pretty much a free assessment for every student, providing you then the roadmap, should they qualify or not. Then up to the student to start the process or not, but that's completely free to evaluate. Then if they want to start, we have what we call the application process. That's really the crucial point for any student that needs a visa, because that's where the conditional letter of acceptance, which allows them to apply for the study applicant visa. In addition, optional, the visa assistance process. Here we do one-to-one with your students or through you as an agency with them via Skype, Zoom, etc., Teams, to set up the blocked bank account, which I'll explain further later on, making sure they have the proper insurance, etc. Then the last process and the last package, but this one should not be taken from overseas. It can be taken once on site already in Germany. That's when they must reapply to the university of their choice. In terms of course, at Alpadia, then they can choose the German course of 20, 25, or 30 lessons per week. And at the end, regardless of the option that they choose, they always get the TELC preparation course. You may have heard of other exam prep, which we provide as well, actually, such as Test DAF or Goethe. They are all valid. We tend to prefer the TELC for certain reasons, such as it's slightly faster to get your results. They have generally more open dates for the examination. Right now, even though it's COVID time, we do it at least once a month. And it's slightly cheaper for the student in terms of exam fee. Now, here are the levels. So depending the entry level of your student in the German language, if they are total beginners, then it will be a total of 44 weeks to complete the process to reach C1. A2, 36 weeks, and so on and so on. And you see that while some students, they are C1 already, from experience we have seen that they are a bit rusty. So we included this one new for this year, where they still do 8 weeks of German and they redo the TELC prep to make sure they are really C1 and get at ease once they start their bachelor or master. Certain countries, in order to get the visa, namely, say, Turkey, for example, or Taiwan, they request students to already have a certain level in order to apply for that specific visa. If they come just for a regular language course, they don't need to have any level. But for progression into higher education, some countries are requested to show proof of an A2, a B1, etc. Just as an indication of pricing, because of course one of the strong appeal to study in Germany, it's what is quote unquote free higher education. It's not entirely free, but also before that, learning German is not free, yet very affordable. As you can see, 44 weeks here in Berlin, you're looking at 5,360 euro for pretty much a year of German courses. The optional preparation modules of Student Colleg, so foundation, in case your students must take the foundation program. Foundation in Germany, it's for everybody who doesn't have 12 years of schooling, and even some countries that do have the 12 years, because of the equivalency with Germany, they are still requested to take that. But again, no worries, you do not need to screen that for us. We do that part during the free pre-evaluation. So 2 modules, introductory module and top-up modules, both are focusing a lot on mathematics in the German language. Here are the 5 types of foundation courses. So the model is very similar at what you may have experienced with other countries. It's a 10-month program, 2 semesters, 2 intakes per year. And the courses are S, G, T, M, or W. It depends then in which field the students will progress. So something to be very careful with in Germany, you can't enter, let's say, a G course for humanity or German studies degrees, but suddenly want to switch to medical. That's not going to be an option. All students have an entrance exam and exit exam to then move on to the bachelor program. The Student Colleg, though, the preparation is with us. It is entirely optional, but the actual student collect takes place on the university campus. Out of the 400 or so public universities, only 26 offer the student collect, the foundation, on their campus. So it is very, very limited. Talking always the public ones, not the private ones. Direct entry, you're familiar, UG, bachelor. For the student colleague to finish it, you are required to have a B2, yet we highly recommend C1, and in fact, some student colleague allow for a B1 level, yet from experience you have over 50% failing rate, not because of their academic grades, but because of the lack of German language. So highly recommended at least B2, but even better C1. On UG, it's C1 all the way. Students can work part-time during their bachelor. And at the end, upon graduation, they get an 18-month post-study work permit, which allows them to work full-time, and the postgraduate work in a similar manner, where they can work full-time, 120 days per year, or part-time, 240 days per year. And as well, they get the 18-month post-study work permit. For PhD, it's slightly different. It's at least an A2, B1, so again, it will depend which type of PhD students will go to. Here are the two intakes per year, the winter semester. From August to October, it really depends the university, or even within the university, depends which degree the students are taking. That's generally the ones where you're going to get the most intakes or available dates. And then some universities have what they call the semester, summer semester intake, starting between January and March. But again, much universities do offer this option. Cost of living and studying. When we say it's free of charge, once again, yes and no. Whether you go for foundation, bachelor, or master, you're looking at 853 euro per month. Yet, this cost is mainly allocated towards living expenses, because the bachelor is rather 800 or so, but for the full year, whereas the master is 1,000 to 1,200 also for the full year. Now, why this specific amount of 853? When students apply for their visa, the study applicant visa, they must show proof of a blocked bank account. And that is part of the visa assistance package we offer, is setting up those accounts for them, with them. And so the total amount that they must show, it's 10,236 euros annually, which is therefore the 853 per month. How does that work? Once the student get the visa, go to Germany, they will open another bank account themselves at any bank. And then every month, the government gives the order to release from the blocked bank account to your student the 853 euro per month. At the end of that year, it depends. Either they renew it just in the same way to show again proof of 10,236 euro, or not, in the sense that because they can work, they can also show their payslip. Generally, they are asked for the last 3 months, and the bank and the visa immigration office in Berlin or in Freiburg or wherever they are, they will look and make the calculation to say, oh, well, you are earning half of this per year, so okay, we only need you to show us another half, period. And they renew that every year with their visa on site. So the visa options, just to mention, but that's not applicable for this program, but for students just wanting to learn language, well, it's a language visa for up to 12 months. Of course, some countries, I mentioned Taiwan earlier, well, for example, they can come up to 90 days without a visa. But the language visa, why doesn't apply for university progression? It's because it's valid for up to 12 months maximum. And here, students do not need to show the blocked bank account. So the one that we are looking at really, it's the second one here and the third one, which are called study applicants visa, valid for up to 2 years. And if you go for foundation, it's going to be valid for 1 year. And with that, you then progress to your UG or PG and you renew on site in Germany, no problem. And the other one for direct entry, it's study student visa. Reminder, they always get the working rights regardless the country they come from, etc. for part-time work up to 20 hours per week while on a bachelor or a master. The reality, we didn't put it here, but while they are on foundation, they can work as well, but highly not recommended. The program is quite demanding and well, we don't really want students to fail. If you fail your foundation, you go home. You cannot continue. You cannot repeat it. And key though, graduating from the bachelor or the master or the PhD, they have 18-month post-study work permit for full-time, not when they graduate from the foundation course. The Student Collect doesn't allow the right to apply for the work permit afterwards. So in terms of packages, we have 3 steps. Again, you have your students today interested, you give us the documents, free of charge, we do the evaluation. Then your students confirm, yes, he or she wants to start the process. Then we start with this package, which is mandatory. And you're going to receive your full student eligibility form, the pre-check, and we provide the assistance to complete the uni application form, and we guarantee you at least 1 conditional letter of acceptance from a public university. Again, crucial, let's not focus neither on the university nor on the city, but on the field of studies. That's very crucial. Or if it's foundation, but that's just for the sake of wording, it's not called the CLA here. So if your first student needs that and you feel, wow, why didn't I get a CLA? Well, it's called an invitation to the entry test at the public student college, but it's the same as a CLA. We'll provide you the full plan of studies that students need to present at the German consulate when they apply for their visa. The visa process package, optional, and the name says it all. It's to review all the documents, setting up the blocked bank account, which is mandatory, having the proper health insurance. We book the appointment for them, and we do one final check before they go, ensuring they are all set with all the documents needed. To point out here that since we started, we have had a 4% visa rejection. However, for students that took this package with us, we only had 1 student that got a visa rejection. And it's to point out that unfortunately, the student didn't follow Alpadia's guideline on which documents to present, to be fair. Lastly, the third package, the actual university placement process. Again, no need to take this package from overseas because all students, as long as they are not, German nationals or EU citizens, must reapply to the university. And that's where we help them on site to reapply, basically. Berlin, quick brief. So capital city, 3.6 million people. We are right in the heart of the city, a large school, one of our largest, in fact, with 25 classrooms, very well located. You pretty much have everything that you need walking distance. Whereas students that are a bit more shy or not used to big cities or don't want this experience, then you get a bit more of the opposite of Freiburg, which is only 220,000 inhabitants. However, to point out, it's one of the largest city in Germany for students. The University of Freiburg itself, which is very famous for music, has many students studying there. And in Freiburg, the same city center location, 15 classroom in a beautiful house. Students are generally very much at ease. Our teams are there to support them all the way through, whether in Freiburg or in Berlin. We do provide accommodation options, such as homestay, residences, or apartments. That's optional. They can take it with us or not. Often, students take a month or 3 and then change and find their own apartments with many other students, etc. So for now, that's pretty much it. Studying in Germany with progression into public higher education on a fast track.
Thank you very much, guys. That was very interesting. Thank you. If you don't mind, we have a few questions, if I can take some of them. The first one was, what German universities you have partnership with?
Sorry, Fadi?
Which German universities you have partnership with?
Okay. So again, we fall back with the fact that we work literally with over 250 of them because we work through Uni Assist. So it doesn't work in a sense that we need a partnership with this specific university. We place the student according to their profile to one university via Uni Assist. It's to operate this program, unlikely I understand why, it's probably the question where in the UK you have those partnerships, right? In Germany, no, that doesn't happen, again, especially because they are public institutions.
Thank you. Question, Seb, as well regarding from agents working already with Kaplan and who want to know how they can do to work with us. Can they work directly with us, or do we have to do something different?
Yeah, so at Kaplan Pathways or even Kaplan Languages, the contracts are separate. So if there is interest on this program or summer camps or others, yeah, it will be the same process, but it's one more contract that we need to issue, and it's expanding on the Kaplan family. But correct, it's another contract, and also it's going to be another contact person that will assist them through the process.
But I believe they can contact the market manager at Kaplan, and we will put you in contact and take you through the procedure.
Absolutely. So we work in the same sense as Kaplan Pathway, where you have a full team, you know, of dedicated sales managers or directors, and we have a same set for different regions of the world. Yeah. If they work already on Kaplan Languages, they will probably know, because it will be the same person that does Kaplan Language or Alpadia Languages.
Perfect. Thank you. Another question in here, to get conditional offer letter, does the student need to pass any German tests?
So yes, they can pass, the one we recommend is the TELC. Sorry. At the CLA phase, no. Unless they come from a country such as Turkey or Taiwan, when they ask, the German consulate asks students to already show proof of a level of German. And generally, well, in those two examples, it's A2. So they can show the Goethe, the TELC or TESDAF that they do in their home country. Some students, especially the ones that have visa waiver for up to 90 days, they tend to come to Alpadia, do the 90 days, reach the level that they want. If they don't reach it because it's too short on time, they go back home, brush it up, pass the exam at home, and then when they go apply, they show that proof. But it's not to get the CLA though. The proof is for when they apply at the visa.
Thank you very much. Another question, during pre-evaluation, are you able to tell student which degree or university student would be qualified with their GPA?
We are able to tell them which degree and which route they can take. The actual university, no. Why? Because we guarantee you one conditional letter, but we apply to various of them to ensure that they at least get one. So at that stage, not really, because our team needs a bit more digging afterwards when they apply to make sure we have the proper match on the student's interest, profile, and then to get the CLA.
Another very good question.
Sorry, Fadi. We can, though, on some occasions, we have done that where the students just didn't budge and asked for a specific uni, and we were able to apply for that specific uni. Some, though, they didn't get it, but then we applied for another uni with the equivalency of the degree that the student wanted and got that CLA from the other uni. So it's possible to request it, but we don't really recommend that they do that, but they could.
Thank you. So another question is, on the DAAD website, there are some tuition fees courses that are not taught in English. In this case, if the student doesn't need to do German language, do you still help them with direct university admissions? If so, what is the cost?
So correct. It's not something that we do much. We have done it actually, I believe, only twice. Because the main focus here is on the German language to then progress higher education, but into a German language taught degree. Now, we can make those exceptions. And so the cost is the cost of the package. Let's say the application package, step 1, that's 550 euros. Then the visa package, if they want, it's 300 euros. And the third package, which is the actual university application, is 550 euros as well.
Perfect, thank you. Another question as well. How long does the student need to study German to get undergraduate degree if a student has 0 level of English, and how much all the education will cost?
So if you're a complete beginner for the German language part, on our curriculum, you would need 44 weeks to reach C1, which is the level needed then progress onto your bachelor. The actual full cost, top of my head, a bit difficult, but 44 weeks, let's say in Berlin on a 20 lessons per week, it's 5,360 euros. Then to that you need to add accommodation, maybe if they need transportation, etc. So let's say you could double it about, like 10,000, 11,000 euro for that year before then moving on to the bachelor. Then the bachelor, during that year, again, the German government anticipate that it's those 853 per month that the students will spend between their tuition and living costs. To keep in mind, the tuition is very minimal. You have bachelors between 400 to 800 euro a year, and masters between 800 to pushing it 1,500 euro per year. Again, public institutions, not on the private ones.
Perfect, thank you. And Another question is, do you have online language classes for students at this time of COVID-19 to prepare them for the next winter intake? Very good question.
Yes, we do. Well, thanks to COVID, I mean, we always had the online lessons, but obviously we had to brush it up and improve, etc. So that was done all last year. In fact, right now, Germany had announced that the measures are until February 14, so all our students are studying online since the schools are closed. Yes, so yes, we do have online lessons.
Perfect, thank you. I'm a little bit cautious about the time. We have 5 minutes only, and I can see we have too many questions to go through. Okay, next one. Do agents receive only commission for Albania pathway and will not for you undergraduate?
Correct, given students will progress again onto a public institution. So the commission is on the tuition of the language course.
Thank you. If a student gets a language visa and manages to get admission into university before their language visa expires, can they renew their visa to change it to student visa without returning home and opening a blocked account? Lovely.
There are some countries such as Japan, Korea, Australia, USA, Switzerland, Brazil, and 2 or 3 more only that can do that. However, they must do that within the first 90 days that they arrive to Germany, not after.
Okay, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. A question from Samah. What are the difficulties that students may face while studying in Germany, especially our students in the Arab Gulf countries?
Well, learning German, it's somewhat of a difficult language to some extent, but a great language. No difficulties other than that. No, I mean it's a welcoming country. We have had students from the Middle East. We have had from Jordan, mainly Egypt. To point out that our school, we are designated as well by the German government in order to provide German language to refugee students from Syria, Iraq, etc. So no, it's...
Yeah, maybe to answer as well on this one, because it's an important one and it's a link with the one who are coming below as well and conscious of the time. Germany is a very, very, very welcoming country. It does everything, they do everything they can to facilitate migration and to help people studying there and work there. So again, with the pathway or the sesame for the university comes as well the 18 months post-study work permit upon graduation, which really definitely help. And this answers one of the questions below as well. We do test students' German level at the very beginning, online test. You arrive on the website, you land on the test, and we are then able to test precisely the level for each student. I think we did answer everything, no, Fadi?
I can take 2 questions. I have 2 minutes. Let's squeeze 2 questions in here. It's good, very good questions, actually. One of them is, do you test students' German language level upon arrival on the course or before?
Before. Once they book, our customer care team, admissions, sends them the link to the online test to have the real level, because that defines then the exact timing that we recommend for them to when to start. And even before that, if they want, we also have another shorter online test to give them a somewhat idea of their level. Mm-hmm.
Perfect. And last question I'm taking, I promise. Just good one. Which was, are all classes in German after the student progressed to university?
No, there are some degrees where some classes can be in English, and the same, there are some that are actually entirely in English. Some it's 50%, some is 80%. So you could have some component of English. This is why when we do the pre-evaluation, one of the field is to indicate their English level. Yeah, in addition to German. Yeah.
Thank you very much, guys. I hope we answered all the questions, but if you feel we didn't answer or you need more information, if you go to the session page on the platform, you can add any question in there and we will make sure we follow up with this. I can see many agents are interested with the idea of studying in Germany. So I encourage you guys, if you would like to talk more to Sebastian and Ugur, if you network with them, I'm sure they will be more than happy to speak to you one-to-one and give you more details. Now, before leaving you all, yes, just one more thing to mention as well. When we finish the webinar, when I close the webinar, you will have a link to a survey. We would like to hear your thoughts and your feedback. It's going to be very interesting for us. So please, if you can take a few minutes to complete it, you will find the same survey as well in the session page. So please go ahead and complete. Now, just before I go, before I finish, I would like to mention about the two other great sessions. They're going to happen soon. Basically, in 15 minutes, we will have another session. It's about the University of Connecticut. And at 5:30, we will have a very exciting session as well. It's new at Kaplan, University of Birmingham partnership. So that's it from us. Thank you for our panelists and thank you for the great questions, everyone. Enjoy the rest of the day and good luck with everything.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Fadi.
Bye. Thank you, guys. Thanks.